Hello and welcome to today's Tiger webinar. I'm Lydia Palmer from Development and Alumni Relations, and I'm your moderator for today's event. We're happy to have you join us today, and we hope that you and our entire Tiger family are well and weathering this global challenge. We encourage everyone to connect to the RIT Alumni Association social media channels, including Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, where you will find up-to-date communications and opportunities to connect with other Tiger alumni in your region and your industry. Those links can be found in the chat box, and the chat box can be opened by clicking on the chat tab at the right of the webinar window. We want to welcome Rachel and Jason, who are our ASL interpreters today. Today is the celebration of the class of 2020, and we ask you to join us at 5 p.m. Eastern to view the streaming of our virtual degree conferral ceremony. You may log in at rit.edu/class of 2020 and help our newest fellow alumni celebrate their accomplishments, as well as welcome them to the Tiger alumni family. A few notes for our presentation today. If you are joining from a remote location and are currently signed into your company's VPN, please close that channel during the webinar to increase the quality of the transmission. All attendees have joined in mute mode. If you have questions for our presenter, please enter them in the chat box. You are joining the event using broadcast audio. If you wish to dial in by phone, dial-in information is provided in the chat box. In addition to our live ASL interpreters, we offer live captioning, and you can find the link to access that in the chat box as well. Today's presentation will be recorded and made available, complete with captions, in approximately 1 week following today's event. All participants will receive an email with the link to the recording. If you have any technical questions, please feel free to type those into the chat box as well, and we will do our best to get you the appropriate answers. And with that, we welcome back Soni Sayana for the second in our series, Introduction to Raha Yoga. Soni, our audience is all yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Lydia. I appreciate that. And also thanks to Rachel and Jason for interpreting. And also thank you to Anna in the background, and also Natalie Anderson for inviting me to come and present on this meditation practice that I've been following for almost 9 years at this point. So I did start the series last week. So I'm not sure how many did attend last week or how many are attending this second session for the first time. So what I like to do is just do a quick review of what we covered last week, and then go into the new material that is on powers. So this is the 3 series session on Raj Yoga. So we did soul consciousness last week, and today is going to be on soul powers. And the last session, which is going to be next Friday, is going to be on karma philosophy. And so I'll also put up my contact information. If anyone has any kind of questions that they want to email me, by all means, feel free. It's my first name, last name, Soni Sayana @gmail.com. All right, so we'll do a quick 1-minute meditation just to bring everyone to the same page. So sit back, relax. Putting aside your to-do list. Bringing your attention to the present moment. Giving yourself this gift of time. Opening up your mind to take in new experiences, new concepts, and new knowledge. All right, so just a review on soul consciousness for the first time. And so I think if you had attended last week, and for those attending this week, when people see the word yoga, I think their minds might be drawn to the physical yoga of the body. And so when people come for some sessions here in Boston, which is where I am, they do come with a yoga mat. And so this type of meditation is not at all about the body. It's very much about the mind and making your mind your friend and being able to bring your mind to a place of tranquility. And people can also look at meditation and have a notion that, you know, it's sitting, listening to music and trying to relax. And it is that. But what happens is, even though you're in that situation, your mind is just potentially wandering around. So you don't really get a good meditation experience that allows you to be calm and take that calmness with you as you move forward. So this is where this practice of Raj Yoga is very much about sharing knowledge. And so with the knowledge of how your mind works and being able to direct it, it really allows you to have a much, much better meditation experience. And that's why this is very much about an education or a knowledge share before we get into a meditation practice. So apologies if people came with a conception or understanding that they were going to be doing a lot of physical activity. It's not the case at all with this practice of Raj Yoga meditation. So a quick review from last week. The whole topic was soul consciousness, and so focusing on the soul piece of it. So talked about the two components that make up who we are, the human and then the being. So the human being the outside, we call it the costume or the shell that we are and we identify with pretty easily. And the inner being, not very easy to see, but together they form the human being. And so we identify with the person of the outside, and we as we introduce ourselves, we say, you know, we're a teacher, or a governor. All those are associated with the role that you play in life, but not really who you really are. And so
Soni, I'm sorry. I do need to interrupt you just 1 second because we are having some trouble getting the window set correctly.
Okay.
So we're trying to get it so that your slides are the main window.
Okay.
Which is what I'm seeing right now. So I want to make sure that that's what's happening, because if we make the interpreter the larger window, then no one sees the slides at all. So I think we're set up correctly now. I apologize. Just please go. Now you can.
Okay. Glad we caught it now. So the inner being, or we call it the soul in Raj Yoga, is what the focus is all about. And the analogy that we talked about last time was a driver in a car, where the car, being the outer shell, doesn't really do anything unless a driver goes in and initiates something with the car. And the same way, unless the soul is present in the body and is able to make it move, only then does it move. And so the soul is really the life force within each one of us. And so we all have a soul, even though we think that some people are soulless, but we all do have a soul. And this soul is the one that we focus on and try and understand what it's all about and how to make it, work in the way we want. Because at the end of the day, life is about having a good experience. And, how do we have that piece of experience in our life all the time, not just in bursts, but all the time. And that's very possible, because I have been able to achieve that. Not something I had planned on looking for when I stumbled onto this practice. It was more about parenting, but what ended up coming out of it was something much greater. And so I now live a life of complete peace, which I think is amazing. So we also talked about the two pieces. So with the body, we, as I said, we identify with the body, and when we identify with the body and everything that the body stands for, we are very familiar with this acronym of anger, lusting for things, greed, and attachment being something that you want to possess and have control over, and not really attachment to a person, but that's caring. So we confuse the two. So there's a difference between attachment and caring. And the last is ego. Everything about me, what I do is right. And so when we operate from these body conscious vices, and we all do to different extents, And this what leads to that negative and wasteful thinking. So we talked about 4 different types of thinking: positive, negative, wasteful, and neutral thinking. So the negative and wasteful thinking is what brings about the sorrow in our life. And so when we operate from these vices that are very much associated with the body, is when we are not living a life of happiness. So flip to the soul conscious qualities, which have all things beautiful: love, peace, happiness, power, and this is what's within all of us. All of us have these soul conscious qualities. It's just that when we're not aware of it, we land up being stuck here. And so being able to recognize these qualities is what this practice of Raj Yoga is all about. Recognizing them and thinking about it is meditation. Meditation is thinking about what's worth thinking about. And we ourselves are worth thinking about because we have these amazing qualities within us. And so these qualities are what contribute to happiness in our life. We've been, conditioned to think that happiness is got from outside, and the position I have, the role I play, the relationships I have with others. But in reality, has that really given us complete, deep happiness? And you can ask that question to yourself. And for me, the answer was no. It was, looking within and finding that permanent happiness that felt true and real and eternal. And so being able to live a life of soul consciousness is the goals of this practice of Raj Yoga. So we also talked about the different faculties that we have within the soul, the subtle faculties of the mind, which produces the 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day, most of them being the wasteful and negative kind of thinking, which is associated with the body conscious vices. And then we talked about the intellect, is where the focus of today is going to be, is strengthening the intellect, because this is what's been asleep for most of us. And so what's happening is, as the mind creates these thoughts, negative thoughts, they become your characteristics or your traits, which is called sanskaras. And so if the intellect is not interceding and adding its opinion, then that's where our traits become so deep that we can't really change who we are. So if we want to see a transformation in life, the focus is strengthening the intellect and giving power to the intellect to be able to, question, is this what I want to do? I think it's a lot of work to question sometimes. And so we just go from the thought right into action. But when we strengthen the intellect, it becomes more of a natural process. You don't have to think about it as much. So it's all about powering that big eye, the big third eye. And so this is where meditation becomes a great tool to really, detach from things that have attached to us, like that algae picture with I had earlier on the body conscious vices. That's what has attached to us and really shielded us from seeing our true inner self of who we are, this inner soul with these beautiful qualities. And we've identified, just from our culture, our society, that, we are our role, we are our relationships, we are our previous story, our success. All of that has defined who each one of us are. And so when there's fluctuations in those relationships, in the role that I play in life, in my career, when those fluctuate, then, I fluctuate. And so my identity then, is so ingrained to that I don't have a sense of constant, equilibrium, if you will, in my experience of life. And so when we look inside and focus on what's eternal and real, that's when we have lasting feelings of contentment even. So being able to detach from, the things that have defined me and are really not me, is where meditation becomes a great tool. And so I have here this little equation where meditation is visualization and affirmation, which is one of the practices that we did last time about going to the fridge and being able to recognize that we all have the ability to visualize, what's happening within our mind. So we can visualize those negative thoughts, those waste thoughts that are happening. We can see them. And so this practice of meditation is, now that I know that I can see what's happening inside, how do I direct it? And the directing is the affirmation. I need to give it the right affirmation to be able to direct the thoughts to a different route. So that was a quick summary of what was touched on last week. I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions that come up. Lydia, and you can let me know if anyone has any questions in the chat box before I start the soul power.
Yes, I think we're all set right now, but if you do have questions during the course of this, please go ahead and enter those questions into the chat box, and we'll be happy to pass those along to Soni. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lydia. All right, so moving on to session 2, this is all about inner power. And so in Raj Yoga, we talk about the battery of the power, the battery of the soul, where the soul, is one that needs to be charged. If it's not charged, then this is where we don't make the right decisions in life that lead to happiness. We do things that we might regret. And so Raj Yoga philosophy says, there are no real bad people in the world. They're just weak people. So it takes a lot of power to do the right thing. And so when your soul is charged with the right power, then you make the right decisions and you're able to lead a life of integrity. So I touched on this already, that the power is what's needed in the intellect to make the right decisions. And in the practice of Raj Yoga, we focus on 8 predominant powers. There are a lot more than these 8, but if you can, wrap your arms around these 8 and make them work for you, you're in good shape. So we'll touch on these 8. It might be a lot of information, again, to take in. So apologies on that. But if you can even grasp one power for now, that's good. And so having these powers in your arsenal is great, because if you're able to use it in the right situation, then that's when you can really emerge those qualities of the inner true you, and not, work from a body conscious perspective. So let's get into these powers. But before I go there, what has not served us well? So as social beings, as we look at, experiencing ourselves, we, look at our relationships, and when we have expectations that don't get filled, we're left a little disappointed. And so we have a heart that, looks a little bit like this. So some of you might be familiar with a broken heart, or a heart that hasn't been fulfilled. And so sometimes when we disappoint ourselves, even, because we don't have the power to make the right decisions, we can be our biggest disappointment and really cause the biggest crack in our own heart. And so that leaves us very vulnerable, and that is the experience of a soul that's discharged and feels like, you have no power to move forward. So when we live life without leveraging our powers, we can experience this kind of a state of being a little disheartened, disappointed in life. And this is where these powers are really able to help you deal with these cracks and move forward. So the 8 powers that I mentioned are the 8 powers within the philosophy of Raj Yoga meditation. What's nice about these powers is that they all have a visual, and that's what helped me when I first came into this knowledge, is being able to visualize, the little symbol that was associated with the power. So we'll start with the first of the powers, with this little tortoise over here, which is known as the power to withdraw. So just like, the tortoise can withdraw into its shell and protect itself, we have this ability to withdraw. And the practice of meditation is all about that, is being able to withdraw and go inside and, realize your true self. So it's the ability to step back from any kind of an emotion or confusion. And, I think we are probably familiar with this aspect of, count to 10 before you say anything. This is kind of like that. It's kind of like the count to 10, but it's a little bit deeper than that, because the count to 10 allows you to calm down and then go forward. But this is more of a count to 10, go inside and recognize your soul, recognize your qualities, and then come into action. So this way you get away from the reaction and you come into more of a response situation. So you are then using that intellect to say, okay, this has come to me. What should I do? Touch base with who you are, and then come from the place of the true you. And so this is where the power to withdraw is an ability to detach from the scene, the role, and everything, and go inside. And it just takes a split second. We can all do that, even no matter where you are. You can withdraw. And I know we can all do this, because people will sometimes ask you, "Hey, are you there?" That's you withdrawing. So we have that ability to withdraw, but here it's being able to do it in being there, and yet being aware. So there and aware of who you are. And so this can be used with these virtues. So they're powers and virtues. The powers are the 8 powers are what we have inside the soul that need to be strengthened. Virtues are ones that we are all born with certain virtues, and we see these specialties in each other. And what I tell students is, steal as many virtues as you can, these beautiful virtues. If you see someone that has sweetness or generosity, these are virtues that you can add to your arsenal, and that helps you with these powers. So if you have the power, the virtue of introspection, being able to concentrate, those are some of the virtues that help you as you deal with this power to withdraw. So in, and as an example of how I use this power to withdraw, with the kids being home now, I have 2 teenage boys, 14 and 15, and, they're doing this online learning. And so they're home, and, tell them to come for lunch, and they don't hear you. Tell them again, they don't hear you. So, you have to, I remind myself I'm a being of peace. So I use this power to withdraw, get in touch with that. And then, call them maybe 4 times to come for lunch, and they've come nicely the 4th time. And I've explained, I said, the most important thing to mom is me. The most important thing to mom is her peace. So, make sure you respect that and don't let me deviate from that. So I make them, be aware that I am using this power to maintain my cool. But, this is something that is very important, that you have either choice to yell, and, it doesn't make me feel good. Or I can withdraw and, use this reminder of who am I? I'm being of peace. I don't want to yell. It's not something that I can't even remember when I had bursts of anger. And that's huge. And that's from this practice of being aware that I can choose how I respond. And this power to withdraw is one of those that gives you that huge power to do differently, especially with kids. And kids being home. The next one is one of my favorite of all the 8 powers. I would say this is my most power that's given me a lot in life. So the power to pack up. So the power to pack up, the visual here is suitcases. And the thinking is that, as you travel in life, it's good to travel light. Going on vacation, you want to take the whole house with you when you go on vacation. It's nice to travel light. And that goes for, our experience as well, is what do we want to take with us? And so this ability to stop and end that wasteful thinking, because we can carry a lot in our life. We carry our whole life story, and sometimes they're not good stories to take, but we take them along. So this power of to pack up is the awareness that I can really let things go. I have the ability to do that. I have the ability to let the past be the past, not take that negativity along with me. And, there might have been traumatic situations that happened. And I'm not going to get any answers to that of, why did this happen to me? Could it have been otherwise? All these questions that, are something that weighs you down. And that's one of the bags that we carry in life. And so this Raja Yoga meditation is, you have the ability to pack that up and let it go and apply something called a full stop instead of those question marks. And the full stop is nice and beautiful. It's a point, and the question mark is all crooked. So, let it go and don't take that bag with you. You have a choice. Take the best and leave the rest. And for me, just thinking of scenarios that landed up contributing to one of the cracks in the heart, and I think I might have shared this before, is how my parents used to always compare each one of us to each other, and it was more of a competitive upbringing than it was more loveful. There was a lot of resentment that I was definitely carrying forward. And coming into this, I was like, what's the point? They did the best they could from their perspective, and I just have to let it go. I'm not going to be able to, play that again any differently. So this was huge for me to be able to let that go and form a different kind of relationship with my parents, because it was just weighing me down. I mean, they weren't worried about it. They thought, they did great, and I was the one that was carrying the suitcase. So being able to recognize that I could just pack it up, let it go, was huge. But that takes courage. It takes courage and forgiveness. I mean, I was thinking I was forgiving them, but it was more forgiving myself for just weighing myself down for no good reason. So very huge to understand that we have this ability to let go. And I think in my experience, women tend not to let go as much as guys do. Looking at my husband, I think he's very much lighter, travels life very, very light compared to, much better now, but what I used to be. So being able to let go, I think, and pack up is a great power that we have and should totally be leveraged. The next one, power to tolerate, sounds very, very negative, but really isn't. It's a very positive energy. And the visual here is a tree that's rooted, and it's got all these storms coming, and it's tolerating it. So it's not caving in. And that's what this power to tolerate is all about, is the ability to respond positively to people that come and shake you, events that come and shake you. And there'll be a lot of those. So being able to be flexible and not break, and being able to remain true to who you are. And so using the power to withdraw in addition to power to tolerate is very, very helpful to remain grounded, because you know who you are better than anyone else. And so people will say things to you, or they might just not understand why you're doing what you're doing. So this recognition that each one has their own script to play, that they won't know who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and they might say all these things that are trying to shake me and break me. But if I stay grounded to my inner truth of who I am and what makes my journey beautiful, allows me to weather those storms. And these storms can come from people you least expect, from your close friends that try to shake you, and that can be a little hurtful. But using this power to tolerate, where you don't break relationships because people might not see eye to eye, allows you to use that hear but not hear, and see but don't see, and stay grounded in your self-respect. You know who you are the best. Whatever they say, they don't know me the way I know myself. So having self-respect, respect for yourself, respect for others, being able to accept, what they say, but yet not breaking under their influence. And so that's this power to tolerate. I think for me, this power was in this whole journey when I started this journey of meditation. Lots of pushback from people around me saying, why are you doing this? It doesn't seem like something that's, necessary where you are in life. And, but I knew that this is what I wanted to do. This is what I want to try out. So, those people are still in my life, and I didn't really break away from them. So using this power to stay true to who you are and being able to tolerate, very big. This power, the power to accommodate, the visual here is an ocean. So the ocean is one that accommodates so much and is able to take everything in, even all our garbage that we're putting into the oceans these days. So this is the power to accommodate. This is one of the hardest powers for me to implement in my life, because it really allows you to be very, very big-hearted. but it's a power that we have within the soul. It's ability to adjust and accept people in our lives, and to have regard for them, and yet maintain your own integrity of who you are. So it's really accommodate is to let someone into your heart even, and so this requires you to be very magnanimous, and but if you can, it can really, really heal any kind of wounds that someone might have given you. And for me, my experience was my mother-in-law. I think for 10 years, I never talked to her, didn't want anything to do with her, could not stand the sight of her. So it really created a lot of turmoil in the family because of my relationship with her. But I was able to really use this power. It took me a long time. Like I said, I've been on this journey about almost 9 years. But last year, I invited her and actually had a surprise birthday party for her, which I didn't think in my lifetime I would ever do that for her. And so this power to accommodate, once I did that, just the healing that happens, the hate or the weight of that was just not worth it. And we just don't realize what we're doing to ourselves when we don't accommodate and heal those wounds. And we have the power to do that. We can really live a life of being a victim for no good reason. So I'm still learning, I'm still on this journey, but one of the biggest and hardest powers for me was definitely the power to accommodate. Empathy, very much a virtue that's needed in the power to accommodate, and of course, forgiveness. And understanding. I didn't really understand her and what she did at that time, but I guess it also comes with age. As you get wiser, you're able to accommodate more and accommodate more people.
Yeah, I think we do have a question on with regard to that.
Yeah.
Trisha is asking, do you say something when someone has hurt you, or do you simply stay silent?
That's another power. I know I said these are the 8 main powers in Raj Yoga. The power of silence, it's actually a power. It is a power to be able to stay silent. And, I think when we say things, especially when we're not using the power to withdraw, we can land up having regret. So I think being able to stay silent, but also having that self-respect. If someone is humiliating you, obviously, no, you don't take it. But if someone is saying because they don't understand your perspective, then definitely use the power of silence. But absolutely, it's a balance between staying in your self-respect of who you are and being able to, tolerate and accommodate. Does that answer the question? But the power of silence is a power.
Yeah, I believe that did answer that. Thank you.
Sure, great question. Yeah, people see silence as being weak, but it's really a power. It's really, I don't think I've ever regretted being silent. I've regretted saying something. I don't think I've ever regretted being silent. So I think being able to use that power of silence at the right time also is important. If someone is, not being nice to you, obviously that's not something you take. But, but it also takes power to walk away. So it's all about power, but internal power. We're not talking about external power. It's power, people, you being subservient to someone else. This is internal power. Oh, how are we doing for time? All right, I should maybe go a little faster here. So power to discern. This is a very, very important power. The visual here might not be very obvious. It's basically a bunch of stones and a diamond amongst those stones. So being able to pick up the diamond amongst all of that, the worthless stuff. So we live in a time of fake news. So it's very, very important to be able to use this power to discern, to know what's right and what's wrong, and to see what benefits you in life and what doesn't. And using this power is really key in the intellect, because the intellect, remember we said, is the one that decides and chooses the right decision. So being able to discern and see what's right for you, it really is key, and also making sure you don't make the same mistake again. So power of discernment really also gives you a sense of, when should I pick my battle? When should I not? And I think about, the kids now with, I used to have such strict rules about their Xbox and phone usage, so strict. I mean, it was like, it was 3 hours on the weekend, 1 hour during the school week. But now they're home, I can be, fighting them on something like that. So it's a power of discernment. I choose to pick, I'm going to give them, much more leeway on using the electronics now during this time. But, I'll make sure that they are doing whatever assignments they have to do with their online learning. So being able to discern within you what's worth, fighting with, and what's the benefit in, and where's the loss. That also, I think, comes with experience. And introspection, really, giving that time to pause and say, what's right for me, and touching base with who you are, and having the courage to really pick a different way of doing things. So power of discernment, another key power. Next one, to decide. The decide here is the visual of a scale where it's at balance, but sometimes we're just stagnant, we're not moving. So once you have the power to discern that, okay, this is what I need to do, and using the power to discern, saying, okay, this is my right course. Sometimes we don't have the ability to go down that path and put it into action. Like smoking, maybe someone says, okay, smoking is no good for me. I've discerned that. I know it's not good for me. So that's the power of discernment. But now to follow through and make it happen is the power to decide. The power to decide and make it a reality in my life. So this power, of course, an extremely key power to see any kind of transformation in your life. So to have the ability to say, okay, this is the path I want to go down, and not put any strings, saying, okay, if I go down this path, I'm only going to do it if I know I'm going to be 100% successful, or if I have this particular outcome. Well, if you're going to have all the strings attached, then there's going to be a lot of fear and you won't be able to do it. So being able to make a decision and follow through, really allows you to experience newness in your life. The thing is, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So if you're going to be stagnant, and that's what these scales are, you're not going to be living your life to its fullest potential, because there's going to be a constant fear of failure. And I think that's also conditioning from society about success and each one being successful. There's so much of fear around doing something because we're scared of that failure. And so when we have this power to decide, you stop asking other people for their input. What should I do? And I think sometimes we do that so we can blame someone else if it doesn't go the right way. But when you have this power within you, you do it, and you do it because you know it's right for you. And it really gives you a feeling of, liberation or independence. But you have to trust yourself. And that's one of the virtues that are very, very key to the power to decide. Trust yourself that this is a decision that's right for you. You know who you are, and you have that self-confidence when you make that decision to go down a particular path. And then, so what if it doesn't, come out the way you thought? At least you trusted yourself. At least you listened to you. Give credit to yourself for that. I think, that's more important. We learn from our mistakes and learn from our failures and move forward. That makes us stronger in life. We're coming down to the last two powers. Power to face. Very, very important power. And, what we're going through in life right now is really like this visual here, like a big tsunami coming at us, and we're on that beach just seeing it and remaining unfazed. And that's this power to face. So we will have a lot of these kind of situations in our life, and we're living through that right now. And these are the tests and obstacles and challenges that will come to really break us. But, we have to recognize that we have this power to conquer. We have the ability to stay strong. We have the ability to, move forward. And that's what, that resilience is in each one of us. And I think looking at your own life is where you can build some of that resilience and confidence, and seeing all the challenges that you have faced, and really seeing that I have done before and I can do again. And this is what makes that power to face a lot more visible in your life. And, you can approach things from a positive perspective by recognizing that you have this power within you to overcome. And I think we're facing a lot with COVID right now. but we'll get through it. It takes a lot of patience, and but positivity, it takes us a long way, and requires courage, obviously, and trust and fearlessness that I can face what comes to me. And I think a lot of people crumble or get into depression because they feel like it's too much for them. But with practice of meditation, you're able to bring forward this power to face and develop that resiliency. The last power, I think this one is the easiest of all the powers. And the visual, very straightforward, really is that cooperation that we give each other. And this is something I think we learn very, very early in life. In kindergarten, we learn to cooperate right away with people that we're playing with. So I think this is a natural power that's there. But sometimes we don't like to cooperate with certain people. And that's where we hold ourselves back. And it could be because there's an expectation of recognition, or the ego, one of those vices seeps in, and you're like, I'm not going to cooperate with that person because I might not get the due, kudos. So this is where we have to check ourselves and say, why are we withholding? If we shift to that soul conscious thinking, what am I going to, what's in it for me? It's you, coming from a place of inner, beauty, and using those skills to give your hand in cooperation. And I think if you have the virtues of appreciation, you can appreciate others for their virtues and their specialties. And that allows you then to give your hand of cooperation more easily in situations. So that's it. Those are the 8 powers. So I hope you grasped at least one that you can use. But I think at the end of the day, all these 8 powers, when you use them, you can really heal yourself. I've given you some examples of how I've been able to heal, relationships with, my mother-in-law, even myself. I talked about my childhood, and being able to use the power of pack up to say, it's okay, everything, happens, and I can move forward. And it gives you, all these beautiful things, your emotional landscape comes under your control. It elevates your self-respect. You know who you are, and you have that feeling of contentment. Contentment, I think, is a virtue that's completely underrated, but you feel very content and complete. And then, when you're here, when you operate from this place of healing, you can then offer your hand of support to others and really truly experience, those qualities of love, peace, and happiness that are just beautiful. So I leave you with this visual right here, which is to use this time in lockdown to unlock your powers. Because if we're looking for power from the outside, from people, from situations, that if I have this, I'll be happy, then you're putting your power in places that are not sustainable. But when we look inside, you can really rely on a platform that's unshakable.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry, Soni, were you done?
I'm done. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought perhaps I interrupted you. I didn't mean to.
No. I'm done. I always have a lot more to say, but I'm done.
Are you sure?
Well, I was going to do a guided meditation, but I'm not sure if we have time for that.
Oh, no, we absolutely do. I'll just let everyone know that at the end of your guided meditation, they can simply close out their browser window, and that will end the webinar for them. So why don't you go ahead and do the meditation?
Okay, sorry about that. I know we're running a little late.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so thank you, Lydia. So like last time, just to give you a little idea about this guided meditation. So it's pretty much to draw yourself inside, like all meditation practices are, and to really experience these soul qualities. And especially today, we're going to be focusing on power. So I will just do it without music in the interest of time. So if you can stay, please stay, because at the end of the day, this is about putting everything that we've talked about, into practice by recognizing the inner power within you. All right. So sit back, relax. Take a deep breath in and out. In this relaxed state, put aside all the roles that you play in life. The role as a parent, grandparent, provider, caregiver. Put that aside and bring the focus back just to you. Turn your attention inward and move into the awareness of your eternal form. Your eternal form, which is a being of love, a being of peace, a being of happiness, and a being of power. Recognize that you have the ability to steer your thoughts in whatever direction you want, and to rise above any pain or sorrow, and stay with the eternal light of who you are, a soul. And as I look at this eternal me, I see myself for who I truly am. When I stay in this awareness, I have the power to face all the negative forces within me and the power to stay peaceful amongst all the obstacles in my life. I use the power to withdraw, to connect with who I am, to remind myself of who I am. This allows me to respond instead of react in situations. I use the power to pack up, to let go of all the negative energy, the negative baggage that I've been carrying with me. I use the power to tolerate, to stay rooted and grounded in who I am, and not break by other people's opinions. I know who I am, and I feel peace knowing who I am. Using the power to cooperate. I work with others, lend my hand of support. And by doing this, I emerge my soul quality of peace, love, and happiness. By recognizing that I am a being of power, I feel in control of my destiny. And I can make the impossible possible. I feel at peace. Om Shanti, which means I'm a being of peace. So I'll leave you with the last slide, which is a little bit of homework to practice this meditation. So last time I had requested that you guys find time to do this meditation for yourself. And so using this particular information about power, drawing that energy into yourself and looking for the power, all the 8 powers, if you could pick on one, if it's a power to pack up, and visualizing yourself, using the power, in your mind, seeing yourself letting go of anything that you're carrying with you. And that visualization, allows you to really manifest that experience into life. So that's why this meditation is that, visualization and affirmation together. So that's a homework that I leave you with, and hopefully you can test it out and experience it, because at the end of the day, all this is just words. And if it's not used, then it's of no value. So I really encourage you to experience and experiment with this information and see how you can make it a reality, because once you leverage your inner power, I think life becomes so much more beautiful. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming.